If your blood runs orange and blue, this is the pod for you. You're listening to Orange and Blue Bloods, hosted by EJ Stewart and Tommy Beer. Let's get to it, New York.
Moments in Knicks history regarding March Madness. So several Knicks on this team are national champions. Jalen Brunson helped lead Villanova to a national championship in 2018. That was his second championship with the Wildcats. They beat Michigan 79-62. Josh Hart also won a national championship playing for Villanova. They had the infamous 2016 game-winning three from Chris Jenkins over North Carolina. He had 12 points and 8 rebounds in that win. So you got two national champions on the Knicks roster. You got two guys also who made it to the national championship game, but saw some heartbreak. Julius Randle, as a freshman, a lot of people forget this, but as a freshman, he led Kentucky to the national championship game. They were 8th seed, which was not usually what you're used to seeing Kentucky, but they went all the way to the national championship in 2014. Lost to another future Knick in Kemba Walker and the Utah Huskies there. Derrick Rose also led his team to the national championship game. Memphis was a dominant team that season, but of course the famous Mario Chalmers shot and the infamous Derrick Rose free throw miss and the lack of fouling on that last play led to Kansas sending that game to overtime and Memphis losing that national championship game. Other notable Knicks to win national titles. I don't know if this is the entire list, but I got as many as I could. Carmelo Anthony, of course, in 2003 with Syracuse. Patrick Ewing with Georgetown. Henry Bibby, one of the only guys to have an NCAA and NBA championship. Raymond Felton, Corey Brewer, and Jerry Lucas, another guy with the NBA and NCAA championship. And by the way, we mentioned coaches. We talked about Rick Pitino and Larry Brown, both former Knicks coaches, also national championship college basketball coaches. Of those memories, any quickly favorite memories from March Madness from future Knicks or former Knicks or however you look at it?
Not necessarily Knick related. I'll just mention that one of my first watching game memories was my dad waking me up at like midnight one night. I must have been 7, 8 years old, something like that. My dad went to Archbishop Lloyd High School.
Yes.
Was a big Kenny Anderson fan. So when Kenny went to Georgia Tech that one season, Brian Oliver, Dennis Scott, Lethal Weapon 3, we were invested in that club. So I fell asleep. I think they were playing like a 10:30 game, but he woke me up and we watched like the second half. So that's something that I've always enjoyed and something I hope to do with my little guy at some point.
Oh yeah. I have plenty of memories of my dad watching March Madness games. It's college basketball. We have a family bracket pool every year, and it's a big deal if you win in our family. So I love March Madness. It definitely reminds me of home and reminds me of family when I think about it. For me, when I think of March Madness moments, I run to Carmelo Anthony, and to me, like Carmelo Anthony, I told you, was like one of my favorite athletes growing up, and it started at Syracuse, and even though I did not like Syracuse as a St. John's fan, so it was very conflicted, but Melo and his game and just seeing like, wow, a freshman like leading his team to a national championship is something that like we really had never seen before. And maybe that sounds like, dumb now. Be like, we'd be a freshman leading his team. Like we've seen Carly Towns and some of these other super freshman teams go far, Jaleel Okafor and Tyus Jones, but that was just like not done. Like seeing a freshman player at a time where so many guys also were going to the NBA. Like Carmelo's a guy that could have went to the NBA straight out of high school. He decided to go to Syracuse, and now he's playing in a college basketball that was much different than now. You didn't have a lot of one and done guys. It was just the high school guys going to the NBA, and anybody else that's playing college basketball were guys that were there for 3-4 years. So to see a freshman go to Syracuse, play in the Big East, take his team all the way to the national championship, win a national championship, playing on a bad back. He's got tape up his back because of how messed up he was. That was a really, really memorable run. I think a lot of people who love Carmelo Anthony, they think about that Syracuse run and how it began. And for a lot of New York Knicks fans, a lot of Knicks fans are Syracuse fans as well. That's the tie that kind of links them and to Carmelo forever. So Carmelo winning that championship in 2003, definitely a big Knick memory. Of course, Patrick Ewing winning for Georgetown as well, also a big one.
And of course, the St. John's last run, with the Eric Barkley and Dorn and those guys. That was a good idea because we had season tickets to the Johnnies coming up. My dad's actually a professor at St. John's now, so we still have some ties to St. John's. So, but yeah, that was a great run when they looked like they had a real chance to make some significant noise.
Yeah, and I used to talk about teams I hate. Like I hate UConn. I also hated Ohio State of that era
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
for some reason St. John's played Ohio State a lot, and they
Yes.
lost to them in the tournament in the Elite Eight.
Yep.
And I really thought St. John's was gonna win that championship that year. So like as a kid at 8 years old, 9 years old, like I was devastated. One of the worst sports losses as a fan I've ever experienced because of damn Scooney Penn and Michael Redd. Never forget those guys playing for Ohio State during that era. But great episode of Orange and Blue Bloods. That will do it, though, for this episode. So thank you guys so much for checking it out. Real quickly, I want to make sure I send out an RIP to Felton Spencer. He passed away. Former Knick, played a long time in the NBA. So a lot of NBA fans are definitely familiar with Felton. Died at a young age. So RIP to him and obviously condolences to his friends and family. But again, that'll do it for now.